Hi guys, good morning. I'm here with another session of useful expressions. I hope you guys are doing well and you've had a great morning. I'm going to wait a little bit for some people to join, and while we're waiting, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Hi Vahid, good to see you. Good morning to you. Good morning, Puria. Good to see you. Thank you for joining me. So as you guys might have seen my post, the first session is up on YouTube. So if you guys missed that, or if you want to do a review, go ahead and check it out on YouTube. Hi, Mohsen. Good morning to you. The second session should be going up soon. I've sent them my second session and my third session, so hopefully those ones will be going up soon too. So if you missed those or you want to review them, just wait a little bit. They should be up on YouTube soon enough. They're going to be up on the English Turbo channel. I put a link on one of my posts. Check it out and let me know what you think. Hi, Kafkas. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining me. Hey, Karami and Surush, good to see you. Thank you for joining in. Good morning to you guys. One thing I was going to mention, guys, unfortunately on this Monday, I won't be able to come live at the same time as I do every day. I might come live a little bit later in the day. I don't know yet. It depends, but I'm just letting you guys know beforehand. On Monday, I'm probably not going to be able to come live at 11 o'clock. Good morning to Elahe and Audio Man. Thank you for joining us. We're about to get started on our common expressions. We finished our A's. Now we're into the B topics. So today we're going to talk about, we're going to get started with being an expert in something. So I'm going to teach you guys some expressions you can use to talk about somebody who's an expert, somebody who knows a lot of information about something, okay? If you guys enjoyed my previous sessions, if you found it helpful, please let your friends know. If there's anybody who's learning English, I hope I can help them out and teach them some expressions as well. So let them know to join in here. I'll be going live while we're in quarantine, at least every day at 11 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, after you have breakfast, come and join me and learn a little bit of English. Good morning to everybody who's just joined in. I'm about to get started. So if you guys, as you guys know, if you have any questions, write them down. I'm going to turn off comments while I'm talking about the expressions. Afterwards, you can feel free to ask me any questions you have. I'll turn comments on again, okay? And hey, Doctor speaking. Good to see you, man. All right, so I'm going to turn off comments. We're going to start. Our first topic is being an expert in something. That means knowing a lot of things, you know, having a lot of information about something, okay? So here we go, guys. All right, so, you know, we all know people who are very smart or know a lot of things or know something really well. And in English, when we want to talk about them, there are some common expressions we use, and I'm going to talk about those right now. The first expression I want to talk about is he knows all about. He knows all about. Obviously, we can change the subject of this expression, so it can be I know all about, or she knows all about, or they know, whatever we want to use. Whatever the topic that they know all about is comes after it. So for example, he knows all about computers. She knows all about cameras. They know all about cars. So you can use this expression in your everyday conversations. It's not necessarily formal or informal, so you can use it with your friends or at work. In any situation where you want to talk about somebody who has a lot of information about something, you can use this expression. The next two actually use the word expert. So this is how we use this word expert. An expert is somebody who knows a lot of things, who has a lot of information about something. So it's he's a, and then we put our topic here, expert. So he's a computer expert. He's a photography expert. If you want to use this expression a little bit less formally, so if you want to use it casually with your friends, you can say he's a computer wizard. Now, you guys might not have heard this word wizard before, so I'm going to explain a little bit. Usually when we say the word wizard, it means somebody who can do magic. But when we use it in this way, when we're talking about an expert, in an informal conversation or casual conversation, we can use the word wizard to mean expert, okay? So he's a car wizard means that he knows a lot about cars. It's the same as saying he's a car expert, okay? The second way we can use expert is to put it at the before our topic. So we can say he's an expert on whatever the topic is. So he's an expert on computers, okay? So if you know somebody who knows a lot about computers and you want to introduce them to somebody else, you can say, Tom is an expert on computers or on digital cameras, something like that. Again, all of these expressions, you can use them in formal or informal settings. If you want to use the word wizard, it's something you should use with your friends or in a casual conversation. It's not a formal expression, so you shouldn't use it at work, but you can use the word expert instead and use the expression either way. So there is an expression we use when we want to exaggerate how much somebody knows about some topic, okay? So when we want to exaggerate, when we want to make a point of how good this person is, we say, there's nothing he doesn't know about computers. There's nothing he doesn't know about cars. There's nothing she doesn't know about cameras. Okay? So we use this expression usually when we want to really emphasize somebody's expertise, when we want to really show, that this person knows what they're doing. It's a little bit of an informal expression, but like I said, most of these you can use them in any situation. So for example, if somebody does some kind of a service for you, maybe they repair your car and you want to recommend them to somebody else, you can say, there's nothing he doesn't know about cars. Okay, you're emphasizing how knowledgeable this person is. There's another expression we can use to do the same thing, to again exaggerate how much somebody knows. So we can say he knows cars inside out. She knows computers inside out. Okay? So when we say somebody knows something inside out, it means they know everything there is to know about it. Usually we can use this expression to talk about somebody that knows something mechanical very well. For example, cars. Cars have a lot of different mechanical parts. So when we say they know them inside out, it means they know everything there is about it. But we can also use this about any kind of expertise. So I could say, he knows English inside out. It's okay to use it like this as well. This is a very common expression. You might hear it in TV series or movies that he knows something inside out. It just means that they know everything there is to know about something, okay? Now, there is another way we can exaggerate what somebody knows or their expertise. And this one is a little bit stronger than the last two we used. So when we say, you wouldn't believe what he knows about computers. You wouldn't believe what she knows about cars. So when we use this expression, we're really exaggerating here, right? Because, computers are very technical, but that doesn't mean that, the knowledge is not known to anybody else. But when we say you wouldn't believe, we're basically saying this person knows something that nobody else knows, okay? We're basically saying they know things that other people don't know. It's a pretty big exaggeration, but it's a good way of emphasizing somebody's expertise, okay? So you wouldn't believe what he knows about cooking. Okay, so the next expression I'm going to talk about is kind of a humorous one. It's kind of like a funny expression. It's kind of calling somebody a know-it-all, okay? So this expression is, he's a walking encyclopedia of cars or information or whatever. He's a walking encyclopedia of English, okay? So when we use this expression, what we mean is that that person has so much information about some topic that, they're like an encyclopedia. If you don't know what an encyclopedia is, it is similar to a dictionary, but about every word, it gives you a lot more information about it, okay? Okay, so the next expression is a little bit of a informal expression. So when we say, for example, cars are his thing. Cars are his thing. When we say something is somebody's thing, we mean that it's the main subject, they know a lot about it, something like that. If we want to use this expression a little bit more formally, we can use the word subject. So we can say, computers are her subject. Okay, computers are her subject. So depending on how formal or informal you want to be, you can use either or. Usually the more common way of using this is saying something is his thing, or whatever the subject is. So for example, English is my thing, okay? Now we have another expression that is a little bit kind of like saying somebody is a walking encyclopedia. When we say somebody knows something from A to Z, it shows that the person knows everything there is to know about it. So he knows it from A to Z. He knows cars from A to Z. Okay? And obviously, I'm Canadian, I say Z, Americans say Z. Both of them are right, so whatever you want. So whenever we say somebody knows something from A to Z, it means they know everything there is to know about it, okay? And this last expression is a very formal expression we use. So if you're writing an article, if you're trying to introduce somebody in a very formal way, so if you have somebody visiting your company and you want to introduce them, you say he's an authority on cars. He's an authority on computers, okay? This is a very formal phrase. It's a very formal expression that is usually used in academic context, okay? What that means is usually when we want to say somebody is an expert in their field, we use this expression. It's a very formal one. Other than this last expression, most of the other expressions we talked about, you can use them in any setting. You know, it depends who you're talking about and how you want to talk about them. If you want to emphasize how much they know, or if you just want to point out that they're an expert in something or not. So, most of these expressions, you can use them interchangeably. You can, depending on your sentence, you can use them interchangeably. Okay, I'm going to turn on comments. If you guys have any questions, please go on and ask them. I am going to put my notes for this as a story after the live. So if you guys want to, write it down, you can wait until afterwards and write it down then. Okay. Good morning to those of you who are just joining us. I'm really happy that you guys are with me today. Hi, Majan. I hope you're having a good morning. And Mahnaz as well. Thank you for joining me today. We just talk about some expressions we can use to describe somebody who is an expert in something. If you missed it, don't worry. This live is going to be on my page for 24 hours, and then afterwards it'll be on YouTube at some point in a couple of days. How old are you? I'm 35 years old, Dandies, and hi. Hey, Tahire. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Thank you for joining us. Okay, so if there are no questions, I'm going to go on to the next topic. Our next topic is about being lucky. So when we talk about luck, we mean when something happens by chance and it's good for you. Usually when we say like somebody is lucky, it means a lot of good things happen for them. Hey, Godlove IMK, thank you for joining us again. So, if we want to say if we say somebody is lucky, it means that, they have a lot of good things that happen for them, usually randomly. So, for example, if you roll the dice and you get a 6 and you keep on getting 6s, we can say you're really lucky. Hi, Angel. Thank you for joining me. Good morning to you. Okay, so I'm going to close the comments. Hey, Sutude. I'm sorry if I say your name, but good morning. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to close the comments. If you guys have any questions, write them down, and afterwards you can ask them, okay? So here we go. Closing comments now. Okay, so when we want to talk about somebody who is lucky or just chance in general, when I say chance, it means, we don't know, it is not 100% thing, right? When something is not 100%, it's up to chance. So when we want to talk about, something good that happened or something that bad that happened, we can use these expressions. Usually, if something bad is about to happen and we avoid it because we are lucky, we want to talk about it afterwards, we can use this expression, it's a good thing that, okay? So for example, if you're driving and there's something on the road and you notice it last second, and you avoid hitting it, you say, it's a good thing that I saw that, okay? It's a good thing I saw that. That here is optional. You can put it in or not. Or if something happens, like you forget your keys and you go back home and somebody is at home. So you ring the doorbell and you get your keys. You say, it's a good thing you're still home. I forgot my keys. It's a good thing you're still home. You haven't left yet. Okay, so we can use this expression if there is something bad that is about to happen, but we are lucky and it doesn't happen, okay? Like if we're walking by a building and something falls down, you say, it's a good thing I moved, I took this step or it would have hit me, right? It's a good thing I took a step, okay? The next expression is very much like the first one. It's it is used in a similar situation. It's just as well. Okay. Now we use this expression, it's just as well, when something unexpected happens and it turns out to be good. Okay. So for example, if you wanted to get a job in a different city, but you don't get the job, you can say, it's just as well I didn't get that job since I will now be closer to home, right? So, it's something unexpected that happened, but you're saying it's still lucky that it didn't happen, okay? All right, the next expression is a lot more common. We use these expressions very often. The first one is fortunately and luckily, okay? Fortunately and luckily. So when something happens and we want to talk about it, usually something good that happens, okay? We can use either one of these words. So we can say, fortunately, I was at home when they got there. It's a good thing I was at home. Luckily, I caught the ball. Maybe if you're a goalkeeper and they shoot a ball at you, luckily I caught the ball. Luckily, I noticed the person on the road. I didn't hit them. Fortunately, I didn't fall asleep while I was driving. Okay, so when we want to talk about something from a positive point of view, we use either one of these words. The next expression is we use it when we want to talk about, something that happened in the past. So as luck would have it. As luck would have it. So, for example, it can be used for the past or the present. For example, when we're telling a story about something that happened, and like we say, I was driving to the north, and there was a cow crossing the road, okay? As luck would have it, I saw the cow in the last minute, okay? So I was lucky, I saw the cow. Fortunately, I saw the cow, or luckily, I saw the cow. If we're talking about the present, like if somebody calls you and they want to make an appointment, you say, as luck would have it, I can make an appointment for you in an hour, okay? So, you're lucky, I have time in an hour. As luck would have it. Okay. Now, the next expression is when somebody tells you a story and they were lucky in it, or when something happens that you were lucky or somebody was lucky, you can use this expression to talk about it. So you can say, that was a stroke of luck. That was a stroke of luck. So for example, if I'm looking for somebody and I run into them as I go outside my home, for example, and I come tell you, you're not going to believe what happened. I was looking for Tom and I saw him just when I went out. You can say, oh, what a stroke of luck, or that was a stroke of luck, okay? Or, if something happens to you and you want to express how lucky you are, for example, you find some money on the ground. What a stroke of luck. I just found some money on the ground. Okay? Now, the next expression is also very commonly used. It's lucky. We say when something happens that, is good or is positive, we say it's lucky. So, it's lucky I ran into you. I have something for you. It's lucky that I left early. I didn't, I didn't get stuck in traffic. So whenever something happens, usually unexpectedly, we can say it's lucky that it happened. very similar expression to it's lucky is it's very fortunate or it's most fortunate. So, for example, it's most fortunate I ran into you. It's most fortunate I ran into you. I have something to give to you, okay? It's very fortunate I saw you. I was looking for you, okay? So you can use this expression when something good happens and you want to talk about it. For example, if you leave your phone at my house and I'm trying to find you to give it back to you, and I just run into you in the street. So I say, wow, it's very fortunate that I saw you. Here's your phone, right? Okay. And now sometimes something bad happens because of bad luck, and we want to talk about, how we avoided it, kind of like with our first expression. So let's think about the scenario where we're driving and a cow comes in the road. We can say, we avoid the cow, and then we can say, that was a close thing, or that was a near miss. So, that was a close thing, or that was a near miss. We can use this kind of expression when we narrowly avoid disaster, when we are crossing the street and some car is just coming really fast at us. We take a step back and it barely misses hitting us. We can say, that was a close thing, or that was a near miss. Near miss means literally something almost hit you, okay? The next one is when something happens for somebody else and we want to tell them they're really lucky. We can say, it must be your lucky day. It must be your lucky day. So for example, your friend finds some money on the ground. You say, wow, it must be your lucky day. You have some extra money. Or for example, they keep on rolling sixes. You're playing backgammon and they keep on rolling those double sixes. You say, wow, it must be your lucky day. You're really lucky today. The next expression is very similar to this. When something lucky happens for somebody, you can use this expression. You can say, you lucky thing, or you lucky guy. Okay? You lucky thing, you lucky guy. When we say this, it just means you have a lot of luck. So just like in the other scenario, when you find something, you say, hey, you lucky thing, you found it, you found some extra money. Or when they roll double sixes, you say, oh, you lucky thing, I can't believe this. Okay? So these are some expressions we can use to talk about the good fortune or bad fortune of some people, being lucky in general. I'm going to turn on comments. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask them now. If you have just joined us, good morning. Thank you for joining in. We just talked about some expressions we can use for being lucky. If you missed it, it's okay. This video is going to be on my Instagram page for 24 hours. And then at some point later, it'll go on the YouTube page for English Turbo. I put a link on that in one of my posts, so go ahead and check it out if you missed it. I'm also going to put all the notes on my story, so if you guys want to write them down, you can do that afterwards. I'll probably do that right after the live ends, okay? Hey, Tuk Tamna Jeffy. Sorry, I know I said your name wrong, but hey, thank you for joining in. Good morning to you. I'm really glad that you're spending your time here this morning. And hi to Amin. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so if you guys don't have any questions, we're going to move on to the next topic. And where are you from? Dandies, I'm Iranian Canadian. I was born in Iran and I grew up in Canada. So this next topic is when we want to talk about some people who are poor, being poor. Being poor, it's not usually a person's fault. no matter where you live, there will be some people who don't have too much money, okay? So I'm going to teach you guys some expressions when you want to talk about people who aren't doing too well. You know, they don't have a lot of money, okay? Okay, I'm going to turn off the comments for now. If you have any questions, write them down and you can ask me afterwards. Here we go. Okay, so usually if somebody is having some financial problems, if they don't have money, you know, it's really rude to just say they're poor. We can use other expressions to talk to them or to talk about them. So the first one is he's short of cash, or she's short of cash. Or you can even talk about yourself. I'm short of cash. So if you're having, you know, some money problems, maybe even you forgot your wallet, you know, and you want to buy something and you say, hey, I'm short on cash. I can't pay for it right now, okay? Usually we use this expression when somebody doesn't have money to pay for their everyday things, okay? But we can also use this expression when we don't have money to pay for something. You know, when I go to buy something, I look in my wallet and I don't have enough money. So I say, oh, I'm short on cash, okay? Or we can use it to talk about somebody who is having financial problems. We can say they are short on cash, okay? Or of cash. Both of them work. The next expression is she's got cash flow problems. She's got cash flow problems. So when we talk about cash, we're talking about money, right? And cash flow is, you know, we're talking about the income of money, how much money you're getting. So that means that, you know, usually we're talking about the short term, right? So for example, because of the coronavirus, everyone has cash flow problems. You know, you can't work, so you're not getting paid. So you have some cash flow problems, right? Usually when we use this expression, we mean like short term. We're not talking about like somebody who always has cash flow problems. We're talking about, you know, recently she's had cash flow problems, okay? So her job, she's not doing too well right now. She's got cash flow problems, okay? You can use these expressions in any kind of setting, you know, whenever you're talking about somebody or yourself, you can use these expressions. This next one is a very formal way of talking about people who have nothing. You might hear this on the news, or you might read it in the newspaper. So this one is they were destitute. Okay, they were destitute. Pay attention to the pronunciation. Destitute. Okay, this word destitute means some people who have nothing. You know, they don't have money, they don't have a house, they have nothing, you know, they don't own anything. Usually people who have been in some kind of a disaster, like an earthquake or a flood, they lose everything they have. You say they were destitute, okay? Now my pronunciation is American or Canadian, whatever you want to say, destitute. The British pronunciation is a little bit different. They don't pronounce the T as much. But so if you've heard it differently, that's probably why, okay? So when there is a natural disaster, when something happens and somebody loses everything they have, usually on the news or on the newspaper, they use this expression. They were destitute. It's a very formal way of talking, and usually you don't hear it in a casual conversation, okay? The next one is an expression that is used mostly in the UK, in the United Kingdoms, in England, and it refers to people who need to get food from charities. So he's on the bread line. He's on the bread line. You can also use it about yourself. I'm on the bread line. What this expression means is, you know, I can't afford food. I have to get food from charity, or they can't afford food, or whatever. This is an expression that's usually used in the UK, mostly, okay? Now, here's the next couple of expressions are actually very applicable for everyone, for most people. So if you borrow money from somebody, we say, she's in debt. I'm in debt. When you're in debt, it means you owe somebody money, okay? You need to pay them back money. Now, if you go to America or Canada or, you know, any part of the world where they have credit cards and you use credit cards, then you're going to be in debt, right? You have to pay back the money you spend on credit cards, okay? So, she's in debt. I have a lot of credit card debt. He has student loan debt, okay? So depending on what kind of, where you owe money to, you can use this expression. You can say somebody who is, you know, whose business doesn't do well and it goes under, you say, he's bankrupt. She's bankrupt. So somebody whose business doesn't make money, they pay their expenses, they go bankrupt. In Canada, if you can't pay your debt, then you have to file for bankruptcy. So you go bankrupt if you can't pay your debt, okay? There's another expression for when we take too much money from our bank account, so it goes negative. We say, he's overdrawn, okay? That means that you owe money to the bank. You took too much money from the bank and now you owe money to the bank, okay? So, I'm overdrawn. She's overdrawn. So these expressions are very common. You know, it happens that you owe a debt. So I'm in debt. I have to pay people money. He went bankrupt. You know, his company, they couldn't make money, so he went bankrupt. All right. The next expression is used in countries where there is a minimum wage. So we say, he's got a minimum wage job, or she's got a minimum wage job. Now, a minimum wage means that you're getting paid whatever the minimum is that the government says people have to pay you. So, for example, in Vancouver, the minimum wage for a full-time job is $8.50 an hour, okay? I think in America, it depends on what state you're in, but I think it's a couple of dollars, like $4 or $5 in most states. I'm not really sure about that. But when we talk about a minimum wage job, it means the lowest paying job, okay? So a lot of jobs that are like manual labor, where you have to do a lot of physical work, are usually minimum wage jobs. So I've got a minimum wage job. It means I'm getting paid the minimum that the government, has said you have to pay somebody. This next expression is used to describe the income of a family. We say low income families. Low income families. This is a very formal expression that is usually used by newspapers, TV news channels, politicians, when they want to refer to families that don't make too much money, okay? So low income families, they don't have too much money coming in. So they talk about maybe the impact of economy on low income families, the impact of coronavirus on low income families, okay? The next expression, when somebody uses the social services, so the services the government provides, when you don't have money, we say he's on welfare or she's on welfare. In the UK, there is another expression that you can say, he's on the dole, or I'm on the dole. It means the same thing. It means that I am using a government assistant, okay? Welfare is when somebody doesn't have money and the government helps them out. we say they are on welfare, okay? It's a government assistant. The next expression is also a very formal expression that is used in the news a lot. When we say below the poverty line, below the poverty line. So the poverty line is the limit after which you are considered to be poor, okay? It depends on what country you're living in. Usually the poverty line is defined by the government. So if we say somebody is below the poverty line, it means they're not making that minimum income, right? They don't have as much money as other people. And the last expression I want to talk about is those less fortunate than ourselves. Usually this expression is used to talk about how we should help people who don't have a lot of money. We usually say we should help those less fortunate than ourselves. Those less fortunate than ourselves. This is a very polite way of talking about people who don't have as much as you do, okay? All right, I'm going to turn on comments again. I know that was a pretty heavy topic, but if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me. Hi to Iyasi, thank you for joining me. It's really good to see you. Good morning to you. And hi to everybody else who has just joined us. We covered a couple of expressions about being poor, to talk about being poor, and being lucky, and being an expert in something. If you guys missed it, this video is going to be on my page for 24 hours. And it's also going to get posted on YouTube. So check out the English Turbo YouTube channel, and you guys can find my old videos there. I'm also going to post my notes, and you guys can take a look at those after the live session, okay? And thank you guys for the thumbs up. Thumbs up to you too. So like I said yesterday, I'm going to make up for ending the yesterday's session a little bit sooner than usual. So I'm going to do another section here about being relieved. So sometimes when we think something bad is going to happen, and then it ends up that it doesn't happen, you know, if there's something bad we think is going to happen and it doesn't happen, we feel relieved, we feel good, we feel relaxed, right? So I'm going to teach you guys some expressions you can use to express your relief, okay? So if you guys don't have any questions, and thank you very much, Hossein. That is very nice of you. You too, Saide. You guys are very kind. I really appreciate your positive feedback, guys. So I'm going to teach you some expression about being relieved. I'm going to turn off comments. If you guys have any questions, write them down and ask me after. Okay, here we go. So usually when something bad is about to happen and it doesn't happen, a lot of people, their natural reaction is phew. Few. So this is P-H-E-W. Don't confuse it with F-E-W, you know. So maybe something, you know, there's a ball coming at you, and at the last second, you know, it misses you. You say, oh, phew, I almost got hit. Phew is a sound of relief. Usually in English language, if you hear somebody say phew, or you know, you might see it in a movie. It's a sound of relief. You're happy that something bad didn't happen. So maybe you're driving and suddenly you see a car coming at you. You hit the brakes, you try to stop, and the car nearly misses you, but it doesn't hit you. So you say, oh, phew, that almost hit me, okay? And usually after we say phew, we come to our next expression. We say, thank God, thank God for that, or thank God that didn't happen. So for example, thank God I didn't get hit by the car. Thank God. So if somebody tells you, you can use this expression if somebody tells you something bad that almost happened to them and it didn't, you can say, thank God for that. You know, thank God it didn't happen to you. Okay? or you can just say thank God by itself. You don't have to add anything afterwards. It's sort of a religious, the origins are obviously religious, so be careful. Sometimes people get offended if you use religious expressions, but most people are okay. Most people say thank God, okay? All right, the next expression you can use if you don't want to use a religious one, you can say, what a relief. What a relief. It's very much like saying thank God. You know, something bad was about to happen, it didn't. You say, oh, what a relief. I'm okay now. Or when you're worried about somebody, for example, you hear your brother got into an accident. You give him a call, you say, hey, are you okay? They say, yeah, I'm okay. You say, what a relief, just the car got damaged. My brother is okay. So when you're worried about someone or when something bad was about to happen, it didn't, you can say, what a relief. And the next expression is very similar to this one. It's, I'm so relieved to hear that. So you ask your brother, hey, are you okay? He says, yeah, I'm good, man. You say, I'm so relieved to hear that. Okay, I'm so relieved to hear that. It's like saying I'm really happy that nothing bad happened. So, for example, somebody's house is on fire. You call them, you're like, hey man, are you guys doing okay? I heard your house burned down. You say, yeah, we're all good. Oh, I'm so relieved to hear that. I'm sorry about your house though, right? Okay, so the next expression is, this is again when you're worried about somebody and you're worried that something bad happened to them. You say, you had me worried there, or you had me worried for a moment, okay? So you had me worried there, or you had me worried for a moment. So, somebody calls you, they say your brother has been in an accident. You call your brother, you say, hey, are you okay? He says, yeah, I'm good, man. You say, oh, what a relief. You've had me worried there, okay? You had me worried for a moment that something happened to you. This expression can be used in combination with the ones before it or just by itself. So, for example, you're outside and your friend asks you, hey, did you turn off the stove? And you think about it, you're like, oh, I did, but you had me worried there for a minute. Okay, I thought I didn't. I did. Okay. So the next expression is when something bad or something stressful is you're thinking about it and it doesn't happen. You say, that's a weight off my mind. So when we're worried about something and then we hear they're okay, we say, that's a weight off my mind. Okay. So for example, your friend leaves your house late at night and half an hour later, you don't hear back from them. They don't tell you they got home. An hour later, they call you. They're like, hey, I got home. My car broke down, so I had to walk. I got home. You say, oh God, that's a weight off my mind. Okay, I was really worried about you. Now I feel less stressed. Okay. The next expression is also similar to how we use this one. You've no idea what a relief it is to hear. Okay. Usually when we say this, we're saying how happy we are to hear some good news. Okay. So for example, your brother has to do the IELTS exam and you don't know what his mark is. You're waiting for his mark. You get his mark. He calls you up. He says, hey, I got 7 or 7.5. And you say, oh, you've no idea what a relief it is to hear. I'm happy to hear that. Okay. Sometimes, you have a lot of things to worry about. You're really busy and something happens that you don't have to worry about it. So you say, that's one less thing to worry about. That's one less thing to worry about. So for example, you're at your job, you have a lot of things to do, and your boss comes in and says, hey, that thing you had to do, you don't have to do it anymore. You say, oh, good, that's one less thing to worry about, okay? Or for example, if you're looking after, somebody's car, and they're on vacation. They come back, they pick up their car. You say, I'm glad you're back. That's one less thing for me to worry about. I don't have to look after your car, okay? This next one is one we actually talked about. When something lucky happens, we say, what a stroke of luck. So when we feel relieved, when we feel relieved that something bad didn't happen, we say, what a stroke of luck. It means I feel really lucky that something bad didn't happen, okay? So, for example, I'm walking in the street and I'm walking my building and a brick falls down beside me or something falls down beside me. I say, oh my God, what a stroke of luck. What a stroke of luck. I'm so lucky that I didn't get hit by that, right? The last one is it's a expression that you don't hear too often, but it's actually a very good expression to learn. It says, all's well that ends well. Listen, all's well that ends well. What this means is when you have a problem and it ends, you don't have to worry about it anymore, okay? So if there was something really hard you had to do, but it's over now, you're really relieved. You say, oh, all's well that ends well, okay? So, for example, you had a test, you study really hard for it. Afterwards, your friends are like, hey man, how did you do? You just say, all's well that ends well. I don't know how I did, but I'm happy that it's over with, okay? I'm happy that I don't have to study anymore. If you just want to say a short version of that, you can just say, oh well. I don't know how I did, but oh well, it's over with now. I don't have to study anymore. I'm not stressed anymore, okay? So I'm going to turn on comments, and if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. If you guys are just joining us right now, you guys pretty much missed everything, but don't worry. These videos are going to be on my Instagram page for 24 hours, and then afterwards they're going to go on the YouTube page for English Turbo. So go ahead and check them out. If you enjoy these live sessions, tell your friends, tell anybody who wants to learn some English. I'm going to be doing these every morning at 11 until the quarantine is over, and then after that I'll figure out a schedule to fit it in, but it will probably be a couple of times, in a week. It won't be every day. If you missed it at the beginning of the session, on Monday, I won't be able to go live at 11 a.m. I will probably do it at some point later in the day, but I don't know exactly when right now. I'm just letting you guys know so, you don't come here at 11 a.m. and you're like, oh, where is he? Where is this guy? So on Monday, I won't be able to come here at 11 a.m. I will probably go live probably 3 o'clock. I don't know, though. I'm just going to say probably 3 o'clock because MG has his live at 1 o'clock and Habib has it at 2 o'clock. So I'll probably do it somewhere in between there. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm really happy that you guys spend your morning with me. I hope you guys found this session useful. We're going to continue on tomorrow at 11 a.m. We're in the B topics right now. Hopefully we'll be able to finish those and move into the C topics. My goal is to do A to Z of all the useful expressions I know. I'm not actually sure if there's any Z topics, so maybe it won't be A to Z, but we'll find out as we get there, okay? Take care of yourselves, guys. If you have any questions about anything I talked about, you can also send me a message. You can post on any of my stories. Hey, Dr. Amir Abbas, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining in, but I'm sorry we're about to end the session. If you missed it, please catch the videos on YouTube or on my page. I'm going to be posting the notes from these for this session, in a couple of minutes after the session ends. So come back and check this story. If you want to write them down, go ahead and do that. And again, thank you for joining me. Have a good day, guys, and take care of yourselves.